Okay. You got this. Hey guys!
What's happening? Welcome to another episode of today's Tiny House Parking Spot. And today we are in Phoenix, Arizona.
Yes, and it is going to be a high of like 78 today. A little bit crazy in the middle of November.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. The sun is so hot right now.
Yeah, everyone who lives here, just like Tucson, you know, walking around with like jackets and stuff on.
I think it's cold. So this parking spot's pretty common for us. We are parked in the parking lot of Build Us Hope. And of course we're parked next to another tiny house. And over there is actually an apartment complex. So right in almost the heart of downtown.
Yeah, it's not glamorous per se.
No, but it's close to some stuff.
Yeah, no, it's walking distance to things like restaurants and bars. But it is a parking lot, so that means sometimes you get unexpected visitors, but fortunately, we're kind of tucked back here in the corner, so even though it's out in the open in some ways, we still feel somewhat secluded.
And we got this cool wall to hang out on.
Build Us Hope is a non-profit tiny house community developer here in Arizona, and we're so excited to be here because 3 years ago, this was one of our first stops in our tiny house travels across the country. We came to Phoenix and met Elizabeth Singleton, who is the founder and president of Build Us Hope, and she showed us a plot of land where she planned to build a tiny house community. Fast forward to 3 years later, she's created an amazing tiny home village for veterans called E14, which we had the great pleasure of visiting yesterday.
E14 is 3 tiny houses that are about 288 square feet apiece. They're really awesome because they have a good mix of inside space and outside space. They have gardens where they do grow some of their own food.
Yes, the community is newly opened, and one of the things I really like about it is it's inside an existing neighborhood. So it's like a little pocket neighborhood surrounded by other homes, other small homes, and there's plans to expand. In fact, Build Us Hope could take over as much as like a city block in the neighborhood, broken up into different pieces for more houses so they can help more veterans who are in need of quality, affordable housing. And we got to meet one of the new residents. We got to meet Nikki, one of the first resident there, who is a veteran herself, veteran of the Army, and is incredibly grateful to have a beautiful, secure, affordable home that she can live in for as long as she would like. The houses that Build Us Hope are creating, some are rentals and some are rent to own. So there's flexible options that help keep the cost down and more accessible for more people. Build Us Hope now has plans to create multiple additional tiny home communities in different areas of Arizona. This is going to include on-foundation tiny homes and tiny houses on wheels. It's going to be huge, it's going to be gorgeous, and it's going to be affordable. So you definitely want to follow them. We'll keep you posted on more updates as the months roll along, but we're so excited. When these communities are completed, they will be the largest tiny home communities in the entire United States.
One of the things I accidentally did was park a little bit too close to this wall with the house, and the thing that I used to put the jacks up and down, I couldn't get it in there, so I had to get a wrench, and it took forever to get this thing down. People ask us that all the time, how do we get internet? And when we're at a place like this where we're parked and our host isn't too far away and they have internet, well, you end up using theirs. But how we do it is through that antenna up there. That little guy's called a Wi-Fi Ranger. So what it does is it picks up the internet that's actually all around the area here. We looked for some open ones, but there weren't any, so we ended up using the host's Wi-Fi. Put in their password, and what it does is it'll pick it up in there. That line goes into inside where there's another unit, and it broadcasts it throughout the house. So that is how we get internet a lot of times when we're on the road. So this is the internal piece right here. So this is actually the receiver and transmitter. So this will also receive a Wi-Fi signal, but the one outside is much better. It's sitting in our closet, as you can tell. These are all closed. The wire that comes in from outside right here connects in, and then this will broadcast a Wi-Fi signal in here. That's how we sit here and use these little guys.
So I'm with the one and only Elizabeth Singleton.
Hi.
If you don't know her, you should, because she's one of the biggest movers and shakers in the tiny house community, and she is the founder and head of Build Us Hope. Tell us about Build Us Hope.
Well, Build Us Hope is a nonprofit arm of Singleton Community Services, and we focus on building affordable housing. We have now completely focusing on building tiny house communities as an affordable housing model. And we focus on not individuals who are chronically homeless, but those who are the working poor, or those especially in need of affordable housing. So.
Fantastic. We really love checking out E14. It's so great to see you go from, you know, like when we first visited you with your big vision to actually completing a community, and which is just the beginning, really, really beautifully done.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It is. It's great.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. That was our stepping stone to reality.
Yeah.
So
I like that.
Yeah, you really know what you're getting into, and you really have an opportunity to make some changes that you would like to have. I think when it's on a piece of paper and it's in drawings, you're like, yes, it's here, I'm doing it. But then when you actually have to go through it, and we tried different models, volunteering, we tried this, we tried that, and now we're at a point where we recognize how we want to move forward in our builds. And then we also recognize that you really need to pay attention to the details of what your architects, your engineers are writing out, because they all have the best intention.
Yeah.
But you definitely can find out you're losing a lot of space in a tiny home when you're trying to gain as much as you can. And then just keep your affordability models down. And this veteran community, the day it was completed, we all just wept and cried, and then we disappeared for a month. So we were ready.
Well deserved.
Yeah.
Was the community 2 years in the making?
Well, the planning was 2 years in the making, because we went from one, property to another in a 3-year period.
Yeah.
And then we got our first finished documentation permitted at the end of November of last year.
Oh, wow.
And so it was just the process going through. And we were like, yes, it'll be done in like a month. We got it done. And realized that that's not how it goes in development, and it's not how it goes in the real permanent world. But I think right now we have it pretty knocked down to where we know we can develop under this amount of time.
Great.
And the areas where we're developing, we've been working for months already in those areas to make sure we're going to pass our permit process, make sure that the homes that we're structuring are just going to fit that area, plus the time. We really wanted to focus on longevity. That was a big issue for a lot of the stakeholders and our government officials. Is it going to last? Are you using good materials? And we are using really good materials on each one of our builds. So, but we still wanted to keep that affordable component.
I love that, and because what you're showcasing is that tiny homes and the tiny homes that you're making are quality affordable homes, and like the emphasis on quality. Just because it's affordable doesn't mean it has to be, you know,
paper thin.
Cheap.
Yeah, we don't have to have it that way. And one thing about the V13 homes is that we could actually put them on moving pillars to move them if we needed to at any point in time. So that was a good fix on those homes. Not all of our homes will be like that, and we will do our throws, and we will do on foundation. So
fantastic. Huge variety and really killer advice for anyone who's ever thought about creating a tiny home community. Go for your vision, just be realistic and understand that there's a lot of steps and a lot of details involved, a lot of relationship building.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's tons of relationship building. Get to know your planning and zoning department very well, and get to actually know the codes that you are looking at in your neighborhood and the piece of land you have. And don't buy the land just because it's cheap and you can say, I can put 1 million tiny homes on that. You need to really make sure what your permitting process is, if you're close to, or you can meet guidelines to utilities and water sources and things like that. Yes, it's great to want to build a big old tiny house community on a piece of, 40 acres you may got for $30,000, but it costs you more in just your infrastructure. So you just want to make sure on that. And in your tiny house communities, look for a favorite area that maybe already had a house that was built on it. If you want a smaller, 2 or 3 houses, then look for something that was previously developed on a piece of land, and it might be easier for you in building it.
Amazing advice. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I hope all of you follow Build Us Hope, because like we said, they got huge communities in the works, and they're coming in the next year or so. So you want to stay tuned in case you want an affordable tiny home to live in this beautiful state of Arizona.
Yes, it is. Thank you. I appreciate for you guys coming out. Thanks.
Thank you.
So that's it for Phoenix, and next we are headed to Sedona, Arizona. It sounds weird.
Kind of rhymes.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, so thank you guys all for stopping by, and please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you next Tuesday. Bye.
No!
Hey guys, Alexis and Christian here with Tiny House Expedition.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
And click left or right for more tiny house stories and tours.